Hey guys, I think we're rolling. It is Sonia and welcome back to my vlog. We're kicking it off again. Guys, truth be told, I've been kicking it off for a while, but it's been over on Facebook. So I'm sorry for those of you who do not watch over there, but if you do, go back. We are in today's a day. Today was day 20 of 30 videos of going live with paint projects. And so at this stage of the game, you are joining me. And this is kind of what I've worked on today. I put this little table into a color we have called Red Apple. And I think she's gonna pop and be beautiful. So in my storefront, I have much to bring you up to speed on, but let me think if I could put it in a nutshell. Let's see. One of the reasons why I've kind of disappeared here on YouTube is because, well, we've had a lot going on. And over, well, April the 1st, we actually expanded. And so I'll have to bring you up to date with that whole new store tour over here. You saw the first part, of course, a couple videos back, but we quickly grew and expanded. And so now we are decorating, making, more space for more magical things to happen. So as part of this store here, I have a Junk Monkey paint display set up. And I'm going to create an area where I'm able to sell all my thrifted finds, all my secondhand finds. So once I get through all the furniture I have right now that I've purchased a lot of furniture. Yeah, I didn't tell you about all that. But maybe I'll pop in the piece that I did yesterday here. This is a piece that I worked on yesterday, gave it some new love. Some pieces I'm keeping to sell for profit, and some pieces I'm putting into my storefront because I've got a lot of real estate. I got a lot of area to cover, just to plug in some cool pieces for merchandise, and also just to make it cozy with that, magical cozy feel that I love. So this piece here will go on top of a table that I've already painted out there. This is my studio, by the way. My new studio, yeah, you guys haven't even seen me paint here yet. It's not all together yet, but I'm starting to bring things together, and it is nice to have a studio again that is outside of my home and filled with all the things that I love. This is my favorite part of the building. I get to hang out with you guys. I get to paint. We get to flip furniture. Just put a smile on someone's face, on this piece's face today. So yeah, red, I'll show you what I have in mind with it. And we're going to continue on with what I didn't get done on the Facebook Live, which was basically put wet paint on this and left it at that. My next step is to continue to do some distressing. So I've got my sand pad. Oh, and I started to tell you as well that this piece is going to be a piece that I'm going to put on top of the table that I have out front, and it's going to be part of a candle display. Now I'm super excited because that piece that I just showed you, I just flipped that in the last, within 2 days. Finished it up, started working on it one day, finished it up and got it in place last night. So I'm excited about that. And so this piece I want to get done and have it done before I go home. And I've got a couple hours left to my day. So that is the plan. So I'm just making some distress marks. I'm sanding my paint to make it nice and smooth and flush. It takes away any brush hairs, any weirdness. I love to give it character. I love to play up any humps and bumps and, cracks and dents and dings and all that stuff. I think it's much more interesting. And my shop overall is definitely shabby distressed. So let me find a chip brush real quick. Let me see. Let's see here. And I'm just going to use one of these brushes here to go ahead and dust off anything real quick. So you guys working on any projects right now? What are you up to? It is, I want to say it's summer. We finally got summer here, man. It was like the longest spring ever where you think it was going to be nice, and then you were right back where you started. So summer is, well, everybody wants it right now. We all want summer. Today, we've been seeing a lot of people in the store. So the store is open right now. If you hear anything in the background, it's the music, the people out front, Matt's manning the front desk while we're hanging out. But a lot of them have been going down to what's called the Presque Isle here at Lake Erie. We are honestly less than a mile. I don't even think it is a full mile from the lake, which is beautiful. So some nights it's really nice to leave here and go out to the beach and just enjoy the views. Erie has the most beautiful sunsets. And I'm a girl, I grew up on an island in the North Atlantic, but I can appreciate the sunsets here. They're absolutely beautiful. This is my plan today. We got this now in red apple. I just added a collection of transfers to my website. They are owls and fairies and very whimsical, and that's the collection that I have plans to use for the upcoming week or so. So I loaded them up with a few extras, one for myself and a couple for you guys if you want to grab your paint and do the same transfers that I'm doing as well. And I figure we can keep changing it out as I, change up what I want to play with. So this is what's inside. We got a little stick here for applying the transfer. And then let's just find a part of it. Okay, so we are on the floor. I've got a really nice wide transfer tool. I just haven't brought it to my studio, but I need to grab that. I'm gonna give it one more once over here. Now begin the fun. Yay! I like it. I like it a lot. It's funny, I put some cream on my hands and my arms and like essential oil stuff for really good moisturizer. And this is waiting to be sealed. And everywhere I touch it, it's like moisturizing it. It's really funny. That tells me that when I go ahead and I do my sealer now, she's gonna pop. It's gonna look so good. All right, this looks amazing. Let's make sure we have all the edges down. You could distress this lightly if you wanted to around the edges or anything. Whatever floats your boat. Now when I do transfers, even though we have a Junk Monkey wax, the Monkey Shine, the all natural wax oil finish, I like to use my banana peel poly. And that is because not only does it suck in, but it puts over the top a really nice coat. It's a clear coat, it's a top coat, whatever you want to call it. And it's water-based, which makes it really easy to use and clean up. But that way, it'll act like a Band-Aid. It'll stick, it'll go on top of this transfer, and it'll give it much better protection, because the last thing I would want is for this to get scratched or something, right? So just make sure that's down. And I think what I'm going to do next is poly, and then we'll apply some gold. Okay, guys. A little dust off. So I went and got my gold poly. It's a gold shimmer. It leaves like a gold dust into your poly. It just kind of leaves that behind. Can you guys see that there? And you always want to make sure that it's stirred really, really well. So you want to make sure that all that, we'll call it the gold dust, the gold specks are completely all the way through. You'll see this gold color kind of come through your poly. Remember, your poly dries clear, it clears up and just leaves that gold shimmer behind. So let's just make sure it's all the way through, stirred up, because you want it to, you definitely want it to clear up, and in order to do that, you want to make sure that everything is combined so that the product can work properly. All right, so I have actually just recently found these brushes that I love, and they are great for a smooth, laying down a nice smooth finish with my top coat. So we're gonna go ahead and do that together. I just put these on my website. I haven't told Facebook or anywhere else, so you guys are hearing first. But they're 2.5 inch. And works quite nice. So when I do poly, I like to keep a brush just for my poly. Just make sure we do nice. Once we get the poly on, you have a minute to go back over. You know, I've got an edge here, so I've got to stick it in the edge. But then really quickly, I'm going to come behind and I'm going to really make sure I make those brush strokes nice and long. long and lean. I paint the poly on in the same direction that I painted on the paint as well. And you want to make sure that you have a nice light coat. You can build up more. What really is horrible is when you put too much poly on and you can't get it off, right? You have to sand it off, you have to fix it, and it becomes a nightmare. If you take your time and only do a light coat, then you can always add more, but taking away or fixing, that's a whole other problem. All right, just want to make sure it's nice and lined up there. Gravity happens, so I always check my corners as things kind of seep into it, or any corners. And also, if I want to add another coat on top of this, then it'll build more and more of that gold dust into it. So I'm going to let this dry just like that. It'll clear up nicely. There we go. And I don't want to sweep over it too much either. Okay. So now I'm going to work on the bottom, and I'll come back to the top with another coat. All right, guys, so checking back in, and my first coat is on and dry. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a second coat on. I like to put a second coat on because if there's any places that I missed in the first one, the second one will follow through and pick up on it and provide the protection. But also the second layer, you know, is going to give it much more, definitely much more protection. So remember, you put it on, it's going to look this color, and then as it dries, it clears up. And you're left with just a beautiful shimmer in your poly. It's so pretty to work with. I can't wait to do all the gold edging, which we'll be doing next. Let me get those edges. Back and forth. Remember our long lines as best as possible. Just straightening up my lines. Okay. Now we're patient and we'll let this dry. And then I'll work the bottom. I will definitely say that the red apple and the gold looks amazing together. Okay guys, let's get ready to move on to the next step. So I see lots of gold shimmer and I love it. I'm not going to touch the middle section or anything like that, but it's pretty well dry right now. So it'll continue, of course, to when you poly and you clear coat, you definitely want to leave it overnight because it might be dry to the touch, but there's still activity happening. It's still sucking into the wood, the wooden parts, and continuing to cure, right? So let's go ahead and not mess up this, but let's work on these dry edges right now. So we got aged brass, one of my favorites. Got bronze age, and I've also got the amber lights. So I might just work with those. Rose gold. No. I'm going to go with, I'm going to pull out like the yellows, the oranges. I could even put some fire ruby possibly on there. Check with that. Got red amber. So basically anything with orangey, yellowy kind of color is what I want in my life right now. All right. Can we agree? That's pretty cool. This table has all these beautiful like edges that stick out. Just gorgeous. I love old furniture. I don't know, in the future, will they ever look back on the furniture we have now and go, I love, you know, furniture from the 2020s. I just don't know if it would have the same impact. What do you think? What's your thoughts, guys? It's really neat too to be able to look back on furniture. And well, actually, let me just get this top done, and then maybe I'll put this back up on the table and we can work on the legs together. But it's really cool to be able to see furniture and how it's changed over the years. I loved all the wooden styles that you see. You really start seeing, you know, when they came about and how different they are. You know, you think about like the early or late 1800s or earlier, or then the 20s and then the 50s, and you know. Yeah, I'm not necessarily in love with the 1980s though. I think we can skip that. Guys, there's the most amazing thunderstorm happening outside right now. And it is wonderful. So this guy over here is missing his little brass claw, but I'm just gonna put a little bit on there. Nobody's gonna know, right? If we don't point it out, let's just go with it. And until I find another claw that might fit randomly one day, she's gonna be fine and loved. Okay, let me move this to the top. Okay, now we keep going. So that's what the brass looks like, the aged brass, the one that I'm absolutely in love with. Let's try some amber lights because it mimics the sunflowers. Yellowy, orange, mustardy. Absolutely love that combo together. You can paint this on with a brush too if you want. I just use my finger. I go for distressed looks. When things distress naturally, there's nothing perfect about it. I think that's what gives it character. Love that. So this edging that I'm putting on now, these decorative waxes, they also dry permanently. So I've already sealed the piece. Now I'm just putting on some of this permanent wax. So overnight I will let this dry, and then tomorrow she'll be good to go. She'll be finished and ready to put the beautiful candles on. All right, beautiful people, it looks like we are done. You know, if there's anything else I want to do tomorrow when I come in, I'm just going to leave this, let it completely do its thing overnight. But from where we started to where we are now, I think that is quite beautiful. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I can't wait to be able to stack my stuff on there tomorrow. Just one more thing that feels like me in my storefront. Absolutely love it. And I think that this piece was so tired and just needed a new home as well. Just needed something else. You know, needed a new lease on life. So I feel like she's smiling. We turn that frown upside down. What bananas. Oh my gosh, just absolutely adore it so much. I'll work my way around, probably smooth it out a little bit with my fingers. yeah, if there's any areas that I just kind of stand back and look at that I want to put anything else on. But overall, I am very, very happy with this piece. So you may catch it in the background of my store. Plus, I also really enjoy having painted pieces in my store because as somebody who sells paint, then I can say, oh, this is what red apple looks like. This is what gold poly shimmer looks like on the red apple. And, you know, a transfer, all that kind of good stuff. So it's a great example as well. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, keeping me company. I will film again tomorrow. So looking forward to filming very, very regularly, if not daily, every second day here on my YouTube channel again. So, yeah. So hopefully you come hang out with me. I hope you guys had a great night.